Hi everybody, it's Alexander and I'm here to talk about plickers for your round robin tech thing. This is if you are maybe someone who thought that those remote control eye clickers could be really useful, but the prices are absurd. You can do it for free with plickers. You just need a phone and you need internet access in your classroom and a projector, but you probably have all of those anyway. And your students don't need any tech at all to use plickers, so it's a really cool thing. Plickers was my favorite tech tool when I was a teacher. Um, the only thing you have to do is you have to hand out these little barcode things, and now your students can answer questions anonymously. You print these out from the website for free. That's what I do. Or you can buy them pre-made from their online store, and that's how they make their money. I'll show you how it all works, and then I will describe why it's awesome. So let's take a look at their website. So this is on plickers.com. That's like clickers, but with a P instead of a C, and the P stands for paper. So plickers.com, my site looks different from yours because my library is full of stuff. I have all these cards and I have all these classes on the side. Yours will be empty. The first thing you'll do is you'll create a new class. It will tell you to name it, and then it will ask you for the names of your students. I just paste those in from a Google Doc that I make anyway, and it usually reads those with no problem. So it's really easy to get your class set up. And then from then and then after that, you want to get the Plickers app on your phone, and it will run everything from your phone based off of what's on the computer. So the computer's your kind of central control. Your phone app just does the actual execution of the app in the classroom. So now we're back at the website. In the top left corner, you would make a new set. I already made a set called Assessment versus Survey that I used for my class. So that's the one that I just clicked ready to go. And I clicked it for this class, 513, that I made for something else. It's now in my Now Playing. This is now what my students would see if I was in the classroom. Now we're going to see what it would actually look like when you're using it in the classroom. So I told it to boot up my first set. The first question I do always whenever it's a new year is it says, show me answer A. And then over here on my phone, it also is listening to the computer. Whatever the computer tells my phone to do, it's going to follow. So show me answer A. I can see that A is supposed to be the right answer. And I have a blue button to start taking a picture of everyone's cards. So the students are all going to have this card. And if you look really closely, you'll see a little letter, a little B up at the top. You can also see the 5 for the number. So the student has to find the letter A, which is right there, and hold this up. Now this is how they say answer A. Every shape is unique, and so it's totally anonymous. The students don't know who's saying what, but my phone knows. So I have a bunch of those taped to the wall. I'm going to hit this blue button now. So I hit blue. It's going to be starting to take a picture. I'm going to take a picture. I don't have to actually take a picture. It just looks over at that wall, and it just it only took you a couple seconds. And now I see this screen. I see that 3 of the students got A and 1 of them got it wrong. Now I can actually show them that answer if I want. And now we're going to take a look at the screen and see what that looks like. And they all see that A was the correct answer. And then back on my phone, I just hit the next button, and it instantly switches the question here. And also back here on the display, this is again what the students would see. I'm going to click out of this. I'm going to get back into the home. I want to show you some other really cool stuff that they have. They have the reports, so I can see what questions are hard and which questions are easy. And I also get this score sheet. So I'm going to click the class that I used today. Today I can see that a few of these students have 100%, one has a 0, the average is 75. If you look at the bottom left corner, I can also go back in time and choose a previous date and see those spreadsheets. So it gives me a really great tracking of all the scores that students have had over time, which is just a really cool tool. So as you can see, it has automatic grading and everything like that, which is really nice too. For a free program, it keeps track of all that stuff. It keeps track for years so you can compare over time. So yeah, Plickers is a really awesome tool, and I strongly encourage you to use it instead of iClickers because it's expensive, or Poll Everywhere, especially Kahoot. Kahoot is a fun time waster, but it has some serious drawbacks for an educator. I strongly recommend you use plickers instead for several reasons. One is you want your students to be thoughtful in their answers, and Kahoot encourages students to go as fast as possible. Even if your questions don't have a timer, they still have been trained by their other teachers that if they don't immediately know the answer, they have to guess right away. And so they're just in the habit of doing that. Two, it's anonymous, which takes away the element of your students feeling embarrassed for not knowing the answers. Students can see the overall ratio of scores, but not the names, so they don't know who's saying what. You do on your phone, though. Three, it gets input from all of your students, and that was the coolest thing for me. How many times have you seen a teacher call on the same two students over and over again? The same two students that always raise their hands. You as an educator, you want to get input from everyone. So I recommend not grading plickers when you use them, just so that you can get the anxious students equally involved and you can hear their voices because they usually are very hesitant to raise hands. I used plickers for polls and diagnostics, not just for quizzes or your usual like check for understanding. Number four, it records all your responses by class, as you saw, so you can track a student's progress over time, which is a really important tool for an educator that most of the competitors don't have, to my knowledge. Usually teachers only rely on the stuff that they graded, but it's really important to know which students are struggling right at the beginning before you start grading things. You can compare students that changed a lot over time or ones that it was easy for them when you started and it's still easy for them now. You as an educator, you want to know how hard your students are working at it. Plickers gives you kind of a view to do that. And the students think it's fun. They like holding up the cards. I suggest if you work with young students that you get them laminated. If you work with really young students, you might want to actually buy the plastic ones just because really young students will rip them apart. So try it out next time you have a class presentation or something and see how you like it. It was a staple in my classroom and I used it almost weekly or so. I would have used it more, except I try to avoid multiple choice questions, which is a drawback of plickers. If you want to try it out, again, you have a presentation coming up and you think it'd be a cool tool to use, but you don't want to print out plickers for it, email me. I will let you borrow the plickers that I've already printed out. So I hope you do get an opportunity to try it, and I hope this video was helpful for you. Take care, everyone. Stay safe. Wash your hands.